I'm always looking for ways to improve my self-love, okay? We all need self-love. We all need to love ourselves. I always hear the phrase, love yourself first before you love another person. Hi, and welcome back to the Intentionally You podcast, a podcast where we can speak open-mindedly about self-love, self-worth, self-improvement, all of that, and well-being. Yeah, I'm still going with the title and the catchphrase here, I guess. And yes, this is a DIY mic that I've got going on. I don't know if the microphone is actually even working at all, but anyway, hi and welcome to the Intentionally You podcast. I'm Charlie. I hope you're all having a fabulous day wherever you are in the world. Hi and welcome. So I really wanted to speak about self-love and what it means and my take on it, and basically just me rambling away. I mean, I'm always rambling away. And I thought we could just do a little chit chat whilst I talk about self-love and my thoughts. You can hear me yap away about self-love and what it means. And yeah, I guess I'm being so awkward. I am so sorry. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into the topic. Before we get in, I did want to just mention that I am not a psychologist nor psychiatrist, nor am I claiming to be one. This is just me yapping away. It is with my own experiences and my own journey that I'm actually going on at the moment with my self-love, my self-healing journey. So I guess just take things that I say with a grain of salt and just enjoy me yapping. Let's get into talking about some self-love. So self-love, we often hear that. I hear that so many times. People just say, you need to practice self-love, or you have to love yourself first, love yourself first. I actually hate that phrase so much. I think it's because I have hated myself so long that when people say love yourself first, I'm like, well, why are you saying to love yourself first when you don't even love yourself? What does self-love mean? Self-love, I feel like, for me, it has various different meanings, and it more so depends on what I am going through personally. But the definition of self-love is often defined as the appreciation for oneself. So appreciating yourself and loving yourself for who you are, pretty much. Exactly. Self-love is as what it pretty much says. Over time with my journey of self-love, these past couple years, it's kind of evolved. The definition itself has evolved for me. Is something to me, self-love, that I think every one of us needs, and it's actually pretty easy to implement into our lives, even though we feel like self-love isn't. And I feel like so many people get self-love and self-care and all of that kind of different. They get it messed up. Whereas like self-care is caring for yourself. You're taking care of yourself, like your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual, whatever health. And self-love is more, I feel like, actually putting in the effort to get to know yourself and to trust yourself and to love yourself for who you are as an individual. Self-love for me, as I've started to learn to get to know myself, get to appreciate myself and to love myself, I have noticed it is the key for opening and giving me so many opportunities that I didn't know were possible. When people do say to love yourself, I am all for that now. Like maybe 3-4 years ago, if you told me to love myself, I would have just told you to get lost. Like, please leave me alone. I don't want to hear that phrase again. People who generally do love themselves and generally do appreciate themselves, we tend to see this in like really successful people. These people love themselves and they trust themselves and they appreciate themselves for who they are, and that leads them to being successful. It leads them to opening up more possibilities for them. It leads them to becoming the version that they want to be and to reaching their own goals, their ambitions, and they're winning at life, okay? They're winning at life. I feel like self-love is something that we all have to implement into our lives, or start to implement, and it's going to be with us for the rest of our lives till the day we die. I don't think self-love is something you just stop after a week of doing. Self-love is a continuous thing because you are constantly evolving as a human. You are constantly getting different experiences, new experiences coming your way. And that's what's kind of beautiful, I guess, about self-love. As you start doing it and you start like implementing little tasks, or you start to appreciate yourself more, you start to see self-love as, for me, it's it's not a chore or an activity. It's part of my life. It's something I need as well because it makes me a better person. It makes me understand myself, but it also makes me understand others as well. So what are the benefits to self-love? Oftentimes benefits to self-love, as I've mentioned, your life completely just opens up. You get so many opportunities. Love comes your way. You attract more. You have high self-esteem, you deal better with your emotions and other people's emotions. It helps you be more mindful and present. Those are just some of the few benefits, but I feel like self-love is pretty much everything. It's an umbrella term, essentially. And some of the signs that like I need, like if like I'm going for a rough time like I was the past couple months, and there were some signs that I needed to focus more on myself than on others, and to focus on myself as an individual and to start loving myself more. Obviously, I go through different stages in my life. Like maybe 2 years ago when I was practicing more self-love, I was getting amazing things. And then for the past year, like all of last year pretty much, I wasn't necessarily focusing a lot on self-love like I was, but I was doing these tasks that I've been doing over and over again of self-love activities for a while, that they became a normal part of my life. I guess I needed to tweak it, that I didn't realize until the past couple months, and I'm like, hey, I need to actually start working on different other areas of my life for me to get better and to start appreciating myself and loving myself in that present moment. So some signs that I needed for self-love personally, I feel like it's going to be different for everyone, but basically for me, the past couple months, these are just a few of the things that were kind of signs for me that I needed to focus on myself more, and that was negative self-talk. It's such a big one for me, but it's actually a big one for everyone because we've normalized negative self-talk over positive self-talk. Negative self-talk, especially like if you suffer depression or anxiety or anything, negative self-talk it's a constant battle within your mind. I mean, it's a constant battle with my mind. And negative self-talk, not just about myself, but also about others. And that's scary to admit, but now I admit that and I'm like, whoa, okay, girl, focus on yourself, okay? It shows a lot more about yourself than of others. Another sign for me was struggling to set boundaries. I struggled a lot being able to set my own boundaries with other people, but also with my own self. I still struggle, not gonna lie. At this very moment, I am still going through the boundaries and figuring all of that out and what I stand for. Another sign could be seeking external validation. I definitely seek external validation instead of looking within. It's a struggle for me, and by the way, I am getting help. There's that. Another sign could be comparison to others. So comparing yourself to others, whether that is where you are in life, how you look, what they are doing. For me, it was definitely comparing myself to where other people are in their lives, like career-wise, relationship-wise. I was being around like a lot of people, even from like high school. Like you go on Facebook and you see like people are getting engaged, they are getting their degrees and they know what they want to do. I had been comparing myself so much to that it was weighing me down, and I was not focusing on my end goal of where I want to be. And if I was happy in that present moment, I had that all out the window, and I was more focusing on other people and comparing my life to them. One last sign for me was ignoring my own needs and feelings. So I completely just like bottled down my emotions and my own feelings about certain things, certain situations, how things were making me feel. Just in general, I just wasn't focusing on my own emotions. I was neglecting them, okay? I was neglecting them. So how have I moved past that? Well, I'm still actually in that stage of figuring life out and putting my own attention onto myself. So bear with me and I'm going to help you. We're going to do this together. What have I started to implement now that I am more focusing on myself, or I'm wanting to focus on myself? So some things for me that I personally do that I've been told by my therapist as well. But by the way, guys, I'm going to list some things that you can do, some things that I personally do and are helping me. And biggest thing for me was shifting my mindset. So challenging my own mindset, challenging what I'm thinking of, how I'm thinking of it. So as I've mentioned, comparing myself to others, but even like saying I am not enough, I am not good enough, I can't do that, it's too hard. Shifting my mindset from that to I am more than enough. I am perfect the way I am. Nothing is too hard for me. If I try, at least give it a go, I will know that I tried it. So shifting my mindset and like rephrasing these negative thoughts and assumptions to more positive ones, and keep doing that as like catching my own thoughts when I think of stuff like that. So it's also like repetition of these new phrases and affirmations, repeating the new phrases, the new positive mindset. Once I started and have started to do that these past couple of weeks, I have noticed such a big difference. And at the stage when you do start to shift your mindset, it feels a bit unnatural and awkward, I guess. Well, for me it is. But as I kept doing it over and over and over again and kind of tweaking these phrases to be more natural to me, it's now impressing my subconscious mind. It's now impressing my mind. And I'm liking these new phrases. And when I say these new phrases, they are a normality for me. They are normal for me. I've noticed such a big difference overall in just how I act and how I think now. I still say the phrases over and over again. Even if I feel like the phrases have impressed my subconscious mind, I still say them to myself as many times as I want throughout the day. I don't know how people just say one affirmation and be gone with the rest of their day. I have to say it over and over again because it doesn't impress my subconscious mind if I just write it down once. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't. When I repeat it, when I basically robotically affirm it, it honestly helps me more at sticking to like the new mindset, the new shift on my mindset. So I highly recommend doing that. Set boundaries. I struggle with boundaries and setting boundaries and actually sticking to these new boundaries, but it's not just boundaries with other people around me and like friends and family. It's boundaries within myself. It's setting boundaries and sticking to these boundaries. I more so stick to intentions. So I will, like if I'm going out with a friend or going out for dinner with friends and they want to go out afterwards, I put the boundary of, if like I'm not feeling up for going out, I put up the boundary of I will try to go out. If I go out, I will only stay out till 9 o'clock, or I'll only go out for dinner and then after dinner I will go straight back home. I will set that boundary with myself. And you also at the same time are setting boundaries with your friends in a way, saying, hey, look, I'm gonna come, but only for a little bit. I just don't want to be out all night. So setting boundaries is so important. It actually also sets you up for pretty much everything in your life. I mean, I'm still learning about the boundary stuff, so I'm still going through setting boundaries and setting my own intentions about situations and setting and kind of like checking in with myself about how these boundaries make me feel. At the same time, also actually encouraging like my friends, my family to set their own boundaries at the same time. So another self-love thing that you can do is practicing self-care. I am all for self-care. I'm all for pamper sessions. I am all for chilling with a book all day. I am all for looking after myself. Pampering, if I want to dress up, I will dress up, okay? If it makes me feel good, I am going to do it. Self-care, like practicing self-care, whether that is once a week, once a fortnight, is so important. It's so important to take care of yourself. So how would you take care of another person, like another loved one who was sick? How would you take care of them? You would check up on them. You would bring them blankets. You would bring them like medications, vitamins, some tea. Basically, instead of doing it for another person, do it for yourself. Look after yourself. And it's not selfish to look after yourself. It's not selfish to have a self-care day. It is not selfish to dress up because it makes you feel good. It is not selfish to put your attention on yourself. People oftentimes make it a selfish thing, but it's not. Practicing self-care, whether that looks different to you, to the next person, for me, it's different pretty much every time I do a self-care. I feel like self-care for me at the moment has been actually doing those mindfulness coloring in. That is something I love doing. It takes my mind off social media. It puts my mind on just coloring mindlessly, and You could also read a book. You could do physical activity. That is also a self-care activity. Anything that puts your mind off what is happening or what you are thinking about, like overthinking about, and putting your attention on yourself and how it makes you feel afterwards. So self-care is so important. It's part of the self-love journey. It's something everyone needs to be doing. It looks different for everyone, and that is totally okay. Another thing about self-love is to embrace the perfectionism. So embrace your imperfections, embrace your perfect stuff, just embrace yourself as you are and who you want to be. Embrace your qualities that you have, embrace your past, embrace your future, embrace your present. I don't mean to embrace like the bad things that have happened to you. It's okay to acknowledge them, but don't give them any power. Don't put them, I guess, on a pedestal, but also embrace when you compare yourself to others. Just acknowledge it. I guess acknowledging it is part of embracing these perfectionisms. Embrace when you have had a bad day. Embrace when you feel like you want to give up. Embrace when you make a mistake, okay? It is okay to make mistakes. And embrace your bad qualities about yourself, okay? Just say to yourself, hey, I am human. One of my favorite quotes is perfectly imperfect. And it's so true. Perfectly imperfect. I love that phrase. I always have loved it. But there's another one, I think it's by Audrey Hepburn, where she goes, you can't spell imperfect without I'm perfect. Something like that. I can't remember the actual phrase, but I also like to remind myself that as well, because it's so true. We're all perfect in our own ways. We're all perfect in whatever you believe in, like religions, like God. You're perfect in God's eyes, okay? Therefore, you're perfect in everyone's eyes. I don't know. I'm not religious, so I have no idea what I'm saying. Embrace your imperfections. Embrace your perfect self. Embrace all of you for who you are at the moment, regardless of who you are and what you think of yourself. Just embrace yourself. Another thing that I've actually started doing is celebrating small wins. So celebrating when I do something that is the most mundane task, embracing it. For me, that has been making my bed. No matter if it's making my bed right when I wake up or sometime throughout the day, just embracing that win of actually making my bed is a win itself. Embrace the small wins that you consider successful or you consider a win. When you start to celebrate yourself and give yourself praise and approval, your brain loves that, okay? Your brain loves it, and your brain is going to want more of it. So you start to do more things to impress your own mind. So celebrate your small wins, no matter how big or small they seem to others. To you, it's a win, and we love wins, okay? Give yourself a piece of cake. Give yourself a pamper day. Give yourself the afternoon off. Celebrate your small wins. Maybe do some self-care. Maybe practice self-care, or celebrate with your girls, bake a cake, I don't know. Just celebrate the small wins you have yourself. Basically, pretty much just hype yourself up and give yourself praise. Make it a big thing to you. One last thing is surrounding yourself with positivity. So surrounding yourself with positive vibes, positive things you love. One thing for me is, because I do social media, oftentimes I'm on social media quite a lot. I can't deal with negativity on there, whether that's people speaking negatively about certain things, but it's also negative news. I can't deal with that. And also things that don't make me happy. So I unfollow all the people who don't bring me joy. Also changing my algorithm, like on TikTok, like a couple months ago, I had such an algorithm of depressing things that I've actually had to train my algorithm to give me positive things. I've now actually trained my algorithm to give me positive things, and for me that is animals and makeup videos and even self-care videos. So training your algorithm on your social media with positive things. It's also training your everyday algorithm in physical life, whether that is changing up your room, putting candles on, putting lovely music, hype music. I know sometimes listening to sad music is just a vibe, but make a playlist of positive, uplifting songs, or songs that make you want to dance, songs that make you feel good about life. Honestly, when people say feed your mind positive things and you'll get positive things in result, I don't know what the quote thing is, I really need to write these quotes down. So how are we overcoming these challenges when we start to do self-love? Like when you start to implement self-love activities, implementing like shifting your mindset, oftentimes we come with challenges or we just give up because we're like, oh, this isn't doing anything, there's no results. Discipline is key when it comes to that, and discipline in your mind, it's tough, but once you do it so many times and actually stick to it and you're consistent, you will see a change. But even if you don't see a change within yourself, there is change. No matter if you actually see it in your 3D reality, if you will, you have actually changed something, regardless if you see it or not. Actually taking that step of wanting to improve yourself is proof of you working to be the best version of yourself, to actually loving yourself. So practicing and actually sticking to the story of the end goal of loving yourself is going to help you become disciplined. It's going to change your mindset to actually start loving yourself. I feel like I just word vomited a bunch of words. I probably did. I'm so sorry. Challenges are tough, especially with self-love, because we are so not used to focusing on ourselves. We're so used to focusing on other people. We're not used to giving ourselves positive things. Our mind kind of just goes, ooh, I don't know about this. But as you feed more of the self-love, you will start to see results, even if you see it or not. Okay, and it might be difficult when you don't see anything, but you will. Just think of the end goal. I like to just think of the end goal. I like to just see myself as the version that loves herself and as a version who hypes herself up. It's also important to realize that self-love isn't just a one-time fix. It could be for some people, but for me personally, and I know for a lot of people, self-love is a continuous thing. It's going to be a constant journey. It's going to be a constant chapter or a constant series. That doesn't mean self-love when I reach the point where I am fully loving myself. That doesn't mean I'm not going to have a bad day. That doesn't mean bad things will happen. We're human. We are going to experience highs, we're going to experience lows, and that is okay. And it's so important to remind yourself that feeling down or having a bad day or when bad things or things don't go your way, to not beat yourself up of it and to just keep reminding yourself that, hey, this is okay. Cry it out, scream it out, whatever you do, just acknowledge it. Acknowledging it actually is a form of self-love. Acknowledging that you're having a bad day, acknowledging that you're not really loving yourself in the present moment is a form of self-love. It's a form of self-care, okay? So remind yourself that and be patient with your journey. Your journey is going to be different to the next person. My journey is going to be different to yours. Your journey is going to be different to mine. Your journey is going to be different to Fred's, whoever Fred is. It's all about focusing on yourself and putting yourself forward. Self-love is different for everyone. Self-love is going to be different to the next person. Self-love is a journey itself. Truly taking care of yourself and starting to love and appreciate yourself for who you are as a person is so important. It's so important for your well-being. It's so important for others around you. It's important for you to reach your goals and to appreciate the journey and to actually get to know yourself. Self-love is important. Self-love is for everyone, no matter who you are, no matter your gender, your age, where you come from. Self-love is something we all need. And self-love for me has honestly changed my life. I'm still learning to love myself, and I will still learn to love myself through different stages of my life, different things that I go through within my life. I will have to learn to love myself in different ways. And that I love it. I actually love it. And you will start to appreciate the journey. You'll start to appreciate yourself more once you continue doing this self-love work or self-love, making it part of your routine, your daily life, and you will start to see a shift. You don't need to do all of the shadow prompts. You don't need to do all of the pamper sessions. Honestly, just starting to appreciate yourself more and to acknowledge your qualities, whether that be good quality or a bad quality, is a form of self-care. It's a form of self-love. So start doing that and you will start to see a result. But that was my little rant, my little yapping away of self-love and what it means to me, how I'm dealing with self-love and how I'm learning to love myself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed me yapping away with my weird ass mic that I got going on, and I will see you in the next episode or next video, whatever I'm calling this, of the Intentionally You podcast to become intentionally your best self. So I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, night, week, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time.